Hello, this is Jim Pellegrino, your host for the hour. Welcome back to the second segment of the show, and our guest is Dave O'Brien. David,
Jim,
good to see you again.
Great to see you
Dave
as well.
and I, for full disclosure of the part of the audience, we've known each other for the better part of over 10 years now.
Almost 20.
Almost 20 years.
Yeah, but who's counting?
Who's counting? Exactly. Dave is the president of Work Choice Solutions, and he's been that since the year 2000. When he founded the company, Dave was a senior executive in Lee Hecht Harrison, I believe.
Correct, yeah.
And Dave went from being a senior executive in the corporate life to being an entrepreneur founding his own country. He is now a consultant specializing in organizational effectiveness and leadership. Also an author, The Navigator's Handbook. It's a book about leadership. I get that on camera. Look at, they got a beautiful shot of this on camera. Dave, this is like Oprah. Your sales are going to just zoom right up.
Yep.
So the Navigator's Handbook, and he's also a motivational speaker. So, Dave, let's get off the blocks by me asking you the question, what does Work Choice Solutions do? What does your company do in terms of services?
Before we go there, Jim, I'd like to just make one important note. You had referenced that I'd started my own country back in 2000.
Did I really?
Yeah. And while that was my goal back then, I had this vision that I was going to have an empire.
Hey, Dave, it could be a Freudian slip.
There you go. There you go. Maybe in my next life. But it was a company. I wanted to just make sure that for my friends that are watching, I wanted to make sure that they were aware that I haven't started a country without telling you.
Okay.
The business really is about Work Choice Solutions. Because we've known each other for 20 years, I can pull your leg like that. But in 2000, started Work Choice Solutions. And Work Choice Solutions, Jim, really focuses on organizational effectiveness. The centerpiece of our work is about helping organizations of all types maximize leadership and employee potential. And we do that by providing highly customized programs, a lot of training. As you mentioned, I do a lot of speaking as well, but primarily focused on the training and coaching that provides these customized services that offer and maintain sustainable impact and value for organizations in the corporate, nonprofit, and public sectors.
Now, Dave, why do you feel so strongly about it? I mean, organizational effectiveness is one thing, and they're not mutually exclusive, and leadership is another. But why do you feel so strongly, obviously, and you've been very, very successful, about the need for leadership, Dave, right? And was there an epiphany moment in your corporate life, or is it something you've just been observing? What is it?
Well, what I found, particularly in the latter part of my 20 years in corporate, and in being a leader, in those various roles, is that leaders, whether they're good, bad, or indifferent, impact people's lives way beyond the workspace. Mm-hmm. And so that was I don't know if it was an epiphany, but it was a discovery that I had. But one of the things that's really fueled my passion for this work over the years is, you might imagine, doing this work for 20 or 25 years, I've had, fortunately, many good lessons. But one that stands out as really key is that leadership, Jim, and I know you know this, and I'm sure many of our viewers do as well, but I'll say it again, and that is that leadership has less to do with our job title and more to do with our state of mind, with our attitude. So many times people believe that if I don't have a manager role or title or vice president, I'm not a leader. But the truth of the matter is that every single one of us is provided with countless opportunities every day to be role models. And I believe that in many ways, leadership is about being a role model.
So, Dave, listen, I know that you have a national presence because of the Navigator's Handbook,
yes,
because of your speaking, because of your consulting. Are you international yet?
Yes, Jim, I'm very happy to report that now here in year 11, I just recently landed a contract in Kuwait.
In Kuwait?
Yes, and I'll be traveling there next month. I've been working on this project with a colleague of mine since probably June, and we're working on an 18-month training and development organizational effectiveness training program for a group of 50 leaders.
So now when I talk about Dave O'Brien to my friends or when I'm on the media show, I can say internationally known.
There you go.
But you didn't start Kuwait though, Dave.
No, but I'm getting paid. So.
Okay.
I'm on the payroll.
What's most rewarding about the work you do, Dave? You interface with countless of people. What's most rewarding about what happens?
There are many things, fortunately, after this amount of time doing this. I continue to have a lot of satisfaction and, frankly, joy around the work I do. But I think probably one of the most rewarding parts is the conversations that I get to have with leaders all over the country and now around the world about this topic of leadership and what does it mean for us, and to really be able to focus on the huge opportunity that we have every day to influence people in a positive way. And so that learning that comes out of that's a big part of it, because through those conversations, there's rarely an experience I have in working with clients where I'm not learning as well. That's a
Right.
tremendously satisfying part of my work. But also just to be able to have those common denominators of leadership surface, whether I'm working for a Fortune 50 company or I'm working for a nonprofit, and everybody in between. And so through that process, that's become a tremendous source of satisfaction
so Dave,
for me.
with the limited time that we have, when you're speaking with a group, whether it's a group of 200 or a group of 20 or working with people in that, what are the 2 or 3 messages that you want to get out there as it pertains to leadership to these groups of people?
Number one is our influence is huge, and it goes way beyond the scope of our job title or the 4 walls that we call our workspace. People want to feel valued. People want to make a difference. There's a huge body of research over the years about what motivates employees and why people leave organizations. And again and again and again, money continues to be at the very low end of the list. And things like feeling valued, feeling appreciated, being able to do a good job, being able to be part of something bigger than myself. Those are the opportunities that leaders have every day to instill that, to motivate and inspire their teams to do that, and to be part of that. So it's the influence, it's the respect, it's the values. All of those pieces go into making a really successful leader.
That values part, Dave, I heard an expression once, let me see if I get it right. It's managers do things right, whereas leaders do the right things.
That's right.
That's what you mean by the value part of the equation?
Yeah, that's part of it, but it's also the organizations that I work with that are, I believe, at the top of their success and able to maintain that. One of the common denominators that I see is that there's a really clear openness and clarity around shared values. So it's not just saying, here, we're in this business to make a profit and to create shareholder value, but it's being respectful of, aware of, and respectful of the values that we share as fellow human beings.
Dave, listen, as someone who talks a lot about leadership, I'm going to make the assumption that you've become a student of leadership. I mean, not only the giving of it, but the study of it as well.
Sure.
So let me put you on the spot. Whether or not you think in historical terms with leaders that you're familiar with, or present day terms, or men or women that you see coming down the trail in the future, do you have in mind any examples for us of, I mean by name now, people that you would consider to be really good leaders, whether they come from the profit sector, nonprofit sector, government, education? Do you have a couple that like roll off the top of your head?
Sure.
Like who, Dave?
Right away, Colin Powell, I believe, had and continues to be a terrific leader. Rudy Giuliani, I've had the good fortune of meeting them and hearing them speak. But closer to home, one that stands out for me is Dr. Jack Rowe, the retired CEO and chairman of Aetna. And I had, that has been one of my clients for many years, and I had an opportunity to meet him and actually do a program that he kicked off for me, now about 7 or 8 years ago.
Being introduced.
Yeah, and he and I had an opportunity to spend some time before the program, and we had great conversation about leadership. And one of the things that stood out for me about him, and it parallels many of the other highly effective leaders that I've worked with, and that is a very authentic, genuine, real human being who happens to have this broad leadership responsibility, but cares deeply about the people that work for him and knows clearly that he can't do it without them.
Dave, there's a lot of people who watch the show that are interested in entrepreneurship. Certainly the crew has heard me say
This is great water, by the way.
Oh, you like it?
My well has not been working because of
Wait a minute, that's your own private water.
That's my own private water.
Oh,
Okay,
all
that's
right.
what it was. It's good to see you, Jim.